Welcome to another episode of the Bible in a Year Live Chronological Project. My name is Shane, and today we are reading the book of Amos. We started it yesterday, chapters 1 to 5, and then today we continue with chapters 6 to 9 from the Names of God Bible. Let's dive in. The fall of Samaria, Amos chapter 6. How terrible it will be for those who are at ease in Zion, for those who feel secure on the mountain of Samaria, and for the heads of the leading nations to whom the nation of Israel comes. Go to Calneh and look. Go from there to the great city of Hamath. Then go to Gath, the city of the Philistines. Are you better than these kingdoms? Is their territory larger than yours? How horrible it will be for those who think that a day of disaster is far away. They bring the reign of violence closer. How horrible it will be for those who sleep on ivory beds. They sprawl out on their couches and eat lambs from their flocks and calves from their stalls. How horrible it will be for those who make up songs as they strum a harp. Like David, they write all kinds of songs for themselves. How horrible it will be for those who drink wine by the jugful. They rub the finest oils all over themselves and are not sorry for the ruin of the descendants of Joseph. That is why they will now be the first to go into exile. The celebrating of those sprawled around the banquet table will stop. Adonai, Yahweh, has sworn an oath on himself. Yahweh Elohe Sebaoth declares, I am disgusted with Jacob's pride, and I hate his palaces. So I will hand over the city and everything in it. If 10 people are left in one house, they will die. If a relative or a mortician comes to take the dead bodies out of the house and asks someone who is inside the house, is there anyone else with you? That person will answer, no. Hush, he will add. We shouldn't mention the name of Yahweh. Yahweh is going to give the command to level big houses and flatten little houses. Do horses run on rocks? Does a farmer plow the sea with oxen? Yet you have turned justice into something deadly, and what is righteous into poison. How horrible it will be for those who rejoice over Lodabar, and who say, we were strong enough to capture Karnaim by ourselves. I am going to lead a nation to attack you, nation of Israel, declares the Lord God of the armies of the nations. They will oppress you from the border of Hamath to the valley of Arabah. Chapter 7. The Lord threatens to bring a famine by locusts. This is what Adonai Yahweh showed me. He was preparing swarms of locusts when the second crop was being harvested. It was the harvest that followed the harvest for the king. When the locusts had finished eating every plant in the land, I said, Adonai Yahweh, please forgive us. How can the descendants of Jacob survive? There are so few of them. Yahweh changed his plans about this. This won't happen, Yahweh said. The Lord threatens to bring a drought by fire. This is what Adonai Yahweh showed me. Adonai Yahweh was calling for judgment by fire. The fire dried up the ocean and burnt up the land. Then I said, Adonai Yahweh, please stop. How can the descendants of Jacob survive? There are so few of them. Yahweh changed his plans about this. This won't happen either, Adonai Yahweh said. The Lord refuses to overlook Israel's sin. This is what he showed me. Adonai was standing by a wall built with the use of a plumb line, and he had a plumb line in his hand. Yahweh asked me, What do you see, Amos? I answered, a plumb line. Then Adonai said, I'm going to hold a plumb line in the middle of my people Israel. I will no longer overlook what they have done. The worship sites of Isaac will be destroyed, and the holy places of Israel will be in ruins. I will attack Jeroboam's heirs with my sword. Amaziah opposes Amos. Then Amaziah, the priest of Bethel, sent a message to King Jeroboam of Israel. It read, Amos is plotting against you among the people of Israel. The country isn't able to endure everything he is saying. Amos says that Jeroboam will be killed with a sword, and that Israel cannot avoid being taken from its land into exile. Then Amaziah said to Amos, You, seer, run away to Judah. Eat there and prophesy there, but don't ever prophesy again in Bethel, because this is the king's holy place and the king's palace. Amos responded, I am not a prophet, and I am not a disciple of the prophets. I am a rancher and a grower of figs. But Yahweh took me away from herding the flock and said to me, Prophesy to my people Israel. Now listen to the word of Yahweh. You said, Stop prophesying against Israel and stop preaching against the descendants of Isaac. However, this is what Yahweh says: Your wife will become a prostitute in the city, and your sons and your daughters will be killed with swords. Your land will be surveyed and divided up, and you will die in an unclean land. Israel cannot avoid being taken from its land into exile. Chapter 8. The end has come for Israel. This is what Adonai Yahweh showed me: a basket of ripe summer fruit. He asked, What do you see, Amos? A basket of ripe fruit, I answered. Then Yahweh said to me, My people Israel are now ripe. I will no longer overlook what they have done. On that day, the songs of the temple become loud cries, declares Adonai Yahweh. There will be dead bodies scattered everywhere. Hush. Listen to this, those who trample on the needy and ruin those who are oppressed in the world. You say to yourselves, When will the new moon festival be over, so that we can sell more again? When will the day of worship be over, so that we can sell more wheat? We can shrink the size of the bushel baskets, increase the cost, and cheat with dishonest scales. We can buy the poor with money, and the needy for a pair of sandals. We can sell the husks mixed in with the wheat. Yahweh has sworn an oath by Jacob's pride. I will never forget anything that they have done. The land will tremble because of this. Everyone who lives in it will mourn. The entire land will rise like the Nile, be tossed about, and then sink like Egypt's river. On that day, declares Adonai Yahweh, I will make the sun go down at noon and darken the earth in broad daylight. I will turn your festivals into funerals and all your songs into funeral songs. I'll put sackcloth around everyone's waist and shave everyone's head. I'll make that day seem like a funeral for an only child, and its end will be bitter. The days are going to me, declares Adonai Yahweh, when I will send a famine throughout the land. It won't be an ordinary famine or drought. Instead, there will be a famine of hearing the words of Yahweh. People will wander from sea to sea and roam from north to east, searching for the word of Yahweh, but they won't find it. On that day, beautiful young women and strong young men will faint because of their thirst. How horrible it will be for those who swear by Ashima, the idol of Samaria, and say, I solemnly swear, Dan, as your God lives. I solemnly swear, as long as there is a road to Beersheba. Those who say this will fall and never get up again. Amos chapter 9. The Lord will shift Israel out of all the nations. I saw Adonai standing by the altar, and he said, Strike the tops of the pillars so that the foundations shake. Cut off everyone's head. I will kill with a sword all who are left. None of them will be able to get away. None of them will be able to escape. Even if they dig their way into Sheol, my hand will take them from there. Even if they go up to heaven, I will bring them down from there. Even if they hide on top of Mount Carmel, I will look for them and take them from there. Even if they hide from me at the bottom of the sea, I will command a sea snake to bite them. Even if they go into exile ahead of their enemies, I will command a sword to kill them. I will keep my eyes on them so that I can bring disaster on them and not help them. Adonai, Yahweh, Sabaoth touches the earth. It quakes, and all who live on it mourn. All of it rises like the Nile and sinks like Egypt's river. The one who builds stairs up to heaven and sets their foundation on the earth, the one who calls for the water in the sea and pours it over the face of the earth. His name is Yahweh. You people of Israel are like the people from Sudan, says Yahweh. Didn't I bring Israel from Egypt? Didn't I bring the Philistines from Crete and the Arameans from Kir? I, Adonai Yahweh, have my eyes on this sinful kingdom. I will wipe it off the face of the earth. But I won't totally destroy the descendants of Jacob, declares Yahweh. I'm going to give the order, I will sift the nation of Israel out of all the nations as if I were using a sieve. Not one pebble will fall to the ground. All the sinners among my people are thinking, destruction will not catch up to us or ruin into us. In spite of this, they will be killed with swords. The Lord will restore his people. On that day, I will set up David's fallen tent. I will repair the holes in it. I will restore its ruined places. I will rebuild them as they were a long time ago. They will capture the few survivors of Edom and all the other nations that were under my authority, declares Yahweh, who will do these things. The days are going to come, declares Yahweh, when the one who plows will catch up to the one who harvests, and the one who stomps on grapes will catch up to the one who plants. New wine will drip from the mountains and flow from all the hills. I will restore my people Israel. They will rebuild the ruined cities and live in them. They will plant vineyards and drink the wine from them. They will plant gardens and eat their fruit. I will plant the people of Israel in their land, and they won't be uprooted again from the land that I gave them, says Yahweh, your Elohim. So our reading today starts with Amos asking for pardon for God's people. And every time that Amos asks, the Lord forgives and he gives them pardon. But then the last time that Amos asks the question, if the Lord will spare his people, the Lord says that he will not spare them anymore because their sin has gotten so bad, even to the point where the king refuses the word of the Lord and tells the prophet to go away from Israel and go and prophesy in Judah, down in the south. But then Amos says he's not really a prophet, he's just a regular person that the Lord took up and told him to come to prophesy to Israel so that they can hear the word of the Lord. And then, interestingly, later on in our reading, it talks about the fact that there will be a drought, and not a drought of water, but a drought of not hearing from the word of the Lord. And history talks about this. Many of us know this as the intertestamental period, the period between Malachi and Matthew, if we use the Bible as a way to kind of understand that. I think about 500 or so years. During that time, Alexander the Great reigned and Greece took over, but the word of the Lord was nowhere to be found until John the Baptist or Matthew or when Jesus was being born. There's one more thing in here that I kind of just wanted to mention. There's a lot of things to talk about, but one of the things that it does talk about is judgment against those who oppress poor people and weak people. It talks about how their minds are so warped in that direction that even when there's a disaster, all they can talk about is how they will make a profit and take advantage, in a sense, of poor people by using the disaster to make this profit. That is always something that the Lord points out as evil. But even after all of that and all of that punishment, we come to the end of the reading where it says that the Lord will still restore his people. So even when he doesn't listen the third time or the last time that Amos asks for pardon, he unleashes the punishment and then he comes back and still, in his loving kindness, restores. So we give God thanks that he does this and he's a God that does this kind of thing. But we should take encouragement to never turn away from him to serve any other God. May the Lord direct us as we continue to read. We'll turn the page tomorrow and go to the book of Jonah. But until then, blessings on you and happy reading.